a weekly show on home staging conversations to help us succeed and collaborate and learn from each other. And thank you for joining us this morning, wherever you are. I am the International Association of Home Staging Professionals chairwoman. And again, the show is brought to you weekly unless there's something else that precludes us from doing it. But this is our 82nd episode, believe it or not. And I'm very excited. We've got a great show for you today. We have one of our keynote speakers for our conference, our marketing keynote, Jonny Fowler, joining us today. So we'll get to him just as soon as I'm done with all of our announcements. So first of all, of course, I want to give a plug for the short-term rental staging class, or the webinar that's happening on the 30th, which is on tomorrow, I believe. Let me just quickly look. I don't know what day it is, you guys. Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow at noon Eastern time, Amy Powers will be teaching this live webinar. So it's limited space. So don't wait to register. We need to know what the head count is so she can plan. And so it's going to be a great educational offering for anybody in the industry, actually. So it doesn't matter if you're whatever group you belong to, you don't belong to a group, just get the education. So to learn how to be your short-term rental specialist in your market. And you will earn the STRS designation as well. Plus you get a lot of resources and handouts that will help you to add this niche to your business. And you know, the short-term rentals are not tied to the resale market for a lot of them. So these are properties that have been acquired by an investor or just an individual who wants to then turn them into a short-term rental. And so a lot of them need the furnishings to be set up as a vacation property, and you know, oftentimes have themes and certain things around it. So you're going to learn all of that. And it's a great market niche to have as a stager because, again, it's not tied to the resale market. And those of us that have been, you know, challenged by this market, if you don't have another avenue of income outside of resale of homes, the traditional real estate, you know, you're sort of up a creek because you don't have any ability to earn income. So the best thing you can do while you're waiting to get back into the swing of things is to add to your education. So we also have a color and design principles for stagers. This is being taught by Joanne Lennett-Weary and Sandra Race. And you can sign up for this. The normal price is $649. iHosp members, we get it for $299. It's 10 different modules. It's very comprehensive, and it is webinar based, so you can take it at your leisure. Hey, Londa. Hey, Kevin. So that's a great class. So get registered for that. I can't wait to take that. I just need to get it done. But that's going to be a great avenue of information and education that, again, will either help you in your staging business to understand some of the fundamentals, the principles, but also to maybe take you into that direction as far as offering home makeovers and color consultations. And then this will be kind of the groundwork for that. And then there's additional information and education you can get to add to your business because it can be very lucrative. And again, it's not tied to anybody selling their house. Today is Stager Wednesday, hashtag Stager Wednesday, hashtag Raise the Standard. The pillow challenge I know is going around, and my goal is to, we'll probably be after the fact, but whatever, we'll do like a pillow thing. But I'd love to see the montages of people's pillow, the pillow challenge from our industry. And so send me your videos, and because I would like to string them together. So the Chicago iHosp chapter was the first one to challenge everybody else, and I can't wait to see what people come up with. So that's different than Stager Wednesday, but Andrea Faber is with the Chicago chapter, and they did a really great video for that. I do want to talk about these additional education things you can earn. So these are our current other designations that you can earn. The BTS is the Buyer Trends Specialist. So this is going to take you through the different demographic groups, who's buying what and why, different elevations of houses, the exteriors, how you can identify what type of house it is. On the interior, what is trending as far as materials and so forth, to recommend to your sellers who are selling, because it's all about the buyer and what they need to see in a property. So it really helps educate you to be an expert in this arena, and it also defines terminology, because how many times do we get asked, what kind of furniture are you going to put in my house? And so when we say the word contemporary, or sometimes the client says, I want modern, I want a modern look. And what this course will teach you is modern is actually not modern. It actually is from 1920 to 1950. And that's the style of Art Deco. And then you had modern and then mid-century mod. And so what people really want is contemporary. So we talk about all the different terminology. What is transitional, contemporary, traditional, modern? What does that really mean? So that you, again, are positioned as the expert. So that's the Buyer Trends. The ISC is the Investor Staging Consultant designation, and that we gave out at Nashville. And so that helps lay the foundation for you to work with investors. And then the short-term rental specialist is sort of an add-on to that. So if you had the ISC, this is a nice transition carry over into learning more about short-term rentals. In the ISC, Amy Powers does talk about short-term rental, but she had a limited amount of time. And so she's able to go much more into depth with the SRTS. And then, of course, the luxury homes staging specialist. That was from Charlotte. We issued that designation at our conference. And this one helps teach you how to capture the luxury market. And so the mindset, how to market, how to price, how to source the product. And so that, again, these are all webinar based that you can take at your leisure. And so, again, add to your knowledge while you're still at home and so forth. Our conference, of course, Focus, Clarity, and Future, our Vision for Success 2020 IHOSP Conference. Focus, Clarity, Future, because it's 2020 the year. And then our awards dinner will be the Roaring 2020s. So we're looking forward to that. And I'm moving forward as if this is happening. We haven't heard anything differently from our state as far as large gatherings. And should that be the situation, then we'll shift gears. There will be a conference. It just may not be in person. However, our hope and plan right now is to hold it in person because we need to see everybody. Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Deb. Hey, Jill. And of course, with that, we have our advanced stager training. So the conference is September 25th, 26th, and 27th here in Denver. And then the 2 days following that would be the 28th and 29th would be the advanced stager training. And so that is for six-figure and above business owners. So if you qualify for that, you get registered. It's more of like a workshop intensive where we really learn from each other. We have various people sharing and speaking and teaching on that. And it's really what you want to learn and what you need to know for your business is the topics that we discuss. So we first do a brainstorming and come up with the different things we're going to cover for the 2 days that are in line with what people are going to be sharing. So that, again, follows the conference. That's a separate ticketed event. Okay. In our European conference, postponed to May 2021. So we're looking forward to being able to host people over there in Portugal, May 2021. It'll be a beautiful location. Our keynote speakers for our conference, of course, on the left, Chris Widener is our business keynote. He'll be sharing on Friday. And then Saturday, we'll have Jonny Fowler, who's our special guest today. So he'll be sharing, he's our marketing keynote. And then Robbie, you see on the right, he is our keynote speaker for our designation that we'll be giving in 2020. And it's going to be the cultural diversity expert, the IHOSP CDE. And he's what he calls himself a cultural catalyst, which is a great title for himself. And so those three are our keynote speakers. And then Chris and Jonny will actually be coming to the advanced stager training sessions and speaking more to the six-figure and above business owners and sharing more in-depth information, more intimate, because it's a much smaller group. So I'm looking forward to that. So we get 3 for the price of 1, which is great. Okay. Let's see, what else do I have here? Just want to encourage everybody to reach out to your insurance providers for the business disruption and your policy. KMRD did a segment on the 22nd, so they hopefully have that recorded. But anybody who has your business insurance, which everybody should have, there is business interruption or business disruption insurance coverage possibly in your policy. You need to see if that covers anything like this situation with the virus and have that looked at. So you can actually send your policy to KMRD. They'll actually evaluate it for you if you're interested, and keep track of all your records to be able to show if your income dropped that you can file a claim on that based on the business interruption or disruption. So make sure to get that done. Those of you that are in Europe that are watching, the Certified Consultation and Communication Specialist course has been recorded. It was done last week, and I sent it to your leaders in Europe for them to get out to everybody. And this was supposed to be taught in Portugal at the end of May, but we didn't want you to wait a whole nother year to get this information. So I went ahead and recorded it, and it's in 2 parts. Plus, there's also a sort of an exam that you have to follow along to make sure that you are comprehending the information and actually watch everything. So once you complete that, then you'll earn your CCS. So it's all about consultations, what they're about, how to put them together, how to get clients on board, understanding your clients' temperaments and personalities to get along with them and adjust who you are to meet their needs. So there's a lot of really valuable information. Anybody who's watching, if you would also like to take that class, you let us know when we get you connected. So I think that's everything for my announcements. Here we have Denver. Yay, come join us in Denver. So I'm excited for our conference. I'm just really praying that we can have it in person because I need to see everybody. Of course, this series that I'm doing is all about overcoming fear because so many people are in fear about the future and the situation that we're currently in. And fear, false evidence appearing real. We teach that in our classes, but this is a sayings that I found online. Fear has two meanings: forget everything and run. So run away and just hide, or face everything and rise. And that's what I'm choosing to do, face everything and rise. And it's not easy. There's some days it can be tough, but just know that we're going to get through this, and it's a good learning experience. And this is not the first time that, industry has had challenging things come up. This is unique as far as this type of situation. Last time it was like the market collapse, and there's been other financial things that have happened. But, to my knowledge, none of us were around in 1920, right? And so when the, market collapsed, and the last pandemic, I think, was like 1918. So this is new ground for us. And the main thing is to not allow fear to paralyze you to the point of inaction. So face everything and rise, meaning take a look at this current situation here, and I'm like, what can I do to add to my knowledge? What can I do to add to my business? What can I do to create additional success off of this? And there's some really creative things people are doing in order to get through these times. What's going to come out of this? So to me, it's a good learning experience because our livelihoods have all been impacted by the situation. And as an entrepreneur, solopreneur, or a business owner, whether you have independent contractors or employees, it's impacted many, many people. So number one, I want to make sure that you guys are all on top of your filing for the PPP if you qualify for that payment protection plan. And then you also have the EIDL you can apply for, the disaster relief. That's through the SBA. There's other programs possibly at your local or state level that you could apply for. So make sure you're getting into every avenue. And then, of course, you can actually file for unemployment as a solopreneur, entrepreneur person. And that would help cover your own expenses. And anybody who works with you that's not an employee, and employees could file for unemployment if they were furloughed or let go. But even a 1099 person can file for unemployment. So that is part of the bill. I think it's an unusual aspect that they did throw in there, which was great. So just make sure that you're getting your stuff together and then just get prepared. I think May is going to be a great month for many, many people in the staging world. A lot of the veil has been lifted for showing properties and a lot of the areas for real estate. And so that again means that we will be able to stage in most areas if you haven't been able to do that. So there's probably a backlog. I just sort of pictured this backlog of houses that everything's going to hit the market. In May, there's going to be a flood or a glut hitting the market, and they need to be staged. And so that hopefully will impact your business in a positive way. We're already feeling that here with our staging company. And so that's a good sign. And just be prepared. All right. So I think that's everything. All my announcements. Okay, so Jonny, I'm going to go ahead and bring you in. The countdown for you. Good morning.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. This is I've been using Zoom so much lately that this is much different with Be Live. So it's like I'm in the green room downstairs waiting on you to bring me in, and I'm wondering, well, God, if I pick my nose while she's on there, is anybody going to see, one of those kind of things? So the other thing is just to make this I am wearing pants.
Yeah,
so
same too.
A lot of people these days on these meetings aren't, so just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, the Be Live is kind of a cool platform. I'm going to be trying to figure out how to do the green screen behind, because that's one of the effects that I like that Zoom has. Yes. And I have this folding screen because I'm in an office area of my house. It's a loft, so it looks down into the family room, and I have all 4 kids back at home, plus the new cat and then the dog. So there's crap everywhere. So I don't want people to see that. And, but I'd like to do the green screen, but they don't have the capability like Zoom has. But there's like a go around. There's a virtual camera. You probably know this more than I do, that you can do a background change. So I'm going to play around with that this week. But anyway, so for people who don't know who you are, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Jonathan Fowler. I go by Jonny, and I am a mortgage guy. Been in the mortgage business for 26 years, and what I'm known for in not the mortgage world, in the real estate world, is I spend about 45 weeks a year traveling around the country at my own expense, teaching people the proper ways to use social media to increase their business. So what I like to do is take real estate agents, take stagers, take whoever it may be, and show them some ways. I get my jollies when people double, triple, quadruple their income. That's what I'm known for. That's what I do. That's what I've been interviewed for 100 times in the past couple of weeks, and really enjoy it. I just had something. This is kind of cool. Let me explain this. Can I have 2 seconds?
Absolutely.
So my son, who will be 28 May 26th, is a executive chef, and and even if he wasn't my son, he's a really good chef. He gets recruited all the time by big names. There's a man, and some people may know him, some people may not. His name is Tillman Fertitta. On television, he's the $1 billion deal maker or something like that. He owns Landry's Corporation. He owns the Golden Nugget.
Yeah, I've seen that guy. Yeah.
So my son worked for him for quite some time and has 22 personal dishes on his national menus. So he's really good. Anyway, so he was caught up in this issue and this problem with what's going on, the COVID. And his restaurant he doesn't own it, but he's the executive chef, had to close because they didn't have the ability to have drive-through and all of that. And so he calls me up and he says, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I said, well, I'll give you money. Don't worry about that. And he said, no, I don't want your money. And I said, well, then let me teach you how to fish. So he came up, spent about 8 hours with me, with myself and Bethany, who you know also. And went home that night. We got him on social media. He was 28 years old, so he thought he knew everything about social media. 28 years old, and went home, and we started making him a celebrity in the Houston area, the west side of Houston. And the very first day that he started doing personal chef work, personal cooking, whatever you want to call it, very first day he made $1,200 profit. In his very first week, he made $5,000 profit, and he had never been on social media. So I test this with every kind of business there is, and I've never found one yet that doesn't.
That's awesome. He has the same birthday as my mom.
Really? And this is something funny. His stepsister, who is my stepdaughter, has the same exact birthday, May 26th, 2 years apart.
Yeah, they always get the Memorial Day holiday. So it was like an extension. They always get that party weekend. It's like New Year's, babies.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So
I want to go to Portugal, by the way.
We would love to have you there. So we have lots of time to plan. It's going to be a great event, and they definitely need, it's funny because in some ways the European market, they're ahead of the curve in some regards with, some of the social media things they do, and their staging and looks are much more streamlined or clean, if you will. Or I don't want to say simple, but I think it's more clean. But then they're also business-wise, 20 years behind us because the real estate agents don't get it as far as staging. They don't understand why they should do it. And part of the reason is because unlike here, where a realtor actually locks down a listing, you sign a listing agreement with the seller. They don't do that there. So a seller can have multiple agents representing them, and whoever gets it sold gets the commission. So it's like the Wild West. And so a seller can have just one agent, but they're not required to. So then staging then becomes one of these things that a realtor can use to add value and to secure that listing. But we have a long road ahead to educate over there. And we should talk about that too, because we're aligning ourselves with the NAR of Europe, which is called SEPI, as well as another group over there. So, but we'd love to have you. That's great. Oh, Yolanda says that's your sister's birthday too. That's funny. Oh, that's great. So, you came on our chapter call, or sorry, association call a couple ago, which was furiously taking notes. And by the way, his session at our conference will be 2 hours, which if those of you that come, that's unusual, and that's because he has so much information he has to share, or likes to share, wants to share. We can't get it done in an hour, so it's going to be packed tight full of information. And I guess people kind of, there's still people that kind of wonder, like, why do I have to have a social media presence? And you're a big Facebook and Instagram are your two favorite platforms, right?
Yeah, for the most part, it depends on what it is. Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Okay. Can you turn the light off on here? Why are those important for people? Because there's still people that don't have profiles. They don't have a presence. They don't even have a website. I mean, so it's like these people get into business and then they wonder why they don't have anybody contacting them or don't know how to be found. And so can you talk a little bit about why it's so important to be on social media? And then we'll get into a couple of tips and hacks.
Yes, ma'am. A couple of reasons. The first one is Facebook itself, and that right now at my moment in life is my favorite, and it's because where my audience is. There is more of my audience there. So pre-COVID, the numbers were in this country, 245 million Americans spend 5 hours a day on Facebook.
Uh-oh.
Post-COVID, throughout COVID, the number has gone up to 255 to 260 million people spend 11 hours a day on social media. 10 hours a day on Facebook is what the average is. So I always try and make this one, and I ask people, so if there's 245 million people on Facebook out of the 330 million people in this country, where is your customer at? And the answer is clear. It's Facebook by far. We're using it as entertainment. I was reading a study that my Facebook rep sent me the other day that said the only thing right now that is competing, it was competing pre-COVID, was Netflix, which is, when you think about that for a minute, between a website and movies, those are the two things that are dominating. And I think it's necessary. There are things, websites are good, but people don't search for what our jobs are, particularly, as much as they ask for references. So I by far, Facebook. Instagram is good. Instagram is really, that's where people look at pretty pictures. They watch funny videos, things like that. It just kind of depends on where your client is. So 67% of Instagram users are 18 to 29 years of age, where the average age of a first-time homebuyer in our country is 33. So you've got to be very careful of which media you're using for what situation you're doing. Instagram is fantastic to get an audience, to have people come to you, to have more people watching what it is that you do. But your customer is sitting on Facebook.
So let's say that, I'm a business owner, I'm on Facebook, and I have a company page. So I got that set up, but it's, I post in there once in a while when I remember to, and then I have my personal profile, and I'm posting and commenting on different things, and I don't have any leads coming in, or I'm not really getting business from that. So what am I doing wrong in that situation?
Okay, when I give my talks, one of the things that I make fun of is business pages. Business pages, I call them penny slots. It's like the guy who walks into Caesar's Palace and says, how the hell did they build this billion-dollar casino? And you see all those people playing the penny slots. Nobody woke up this morning, and I'm going pre-COVID, so there's probably some differences right now at this moment in time, but it's a temporary thing. Nobody woke up this morning and said, God, I hope Coca-Cola is still in business today. Nobody went to bed last night and prayed and said, please let GE be in business tomorrow. So we as humans, we as business owners, have this false sense of security that our company name is really worth something. and is something that people actually flock to. But I will tell you this, and you can look in your comments over here. It's good morning, Jeannie. Good morning, Jeannie. Good morning, Jeannie. How are you, Jeannie? We love humans. And especially right now, we want human interaction. If we can't walk up and shake somebody's hand, hug somebody, whatever that is, I just want to talk to a human being. We don't like business. Every night on the 10 o'clock news, if you turn it on, we're blaming some business for something somewhere, but we don't blame humans. We love humans. So people want to do business with humans. They want to talk to humans. I want to get an opinion. I would never, ever in a million years go on any website that had anything to do with staging and talk to a chat bot about redesigning my living room. But I will call Deborah Plowden, who's right here in Houston, Texas, and say, hey, can you come over? Can you help me with this? We're having a hard time. Or when somebody asks me, hey, do you know somebody who's a good home stager in the area? I'm not going to say, here, go to www. blah, 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 blah. I'm going to say, here, call Deborah Plowden. She's right here in Houston, Texas. She'll help you right now. I know her personally. That's how we are. That's who we are. So you have to be out in the public. You cannot be introverted. You can't hide. By the way, I love your fear. That when you said that, I got goosebumps. The hair stood up on my arms. I love that. I'm so proud that you said that. But we want that human. We want that. And we have to understand how to get to that human. There's specific things that they want to see. There's specific things they want to hear. There's specific times that they want to see this and hear this. And we have to be there when they're ready for us.
So if business pages aren't really the way to go, and you're saying, human interaction, a lot of people, Facebook, and I totally believe that 10 hours on average a day, I fully believe that. If people are not out working and, don't have anything else to do, everybody's commenting and posting. And as I've said, the last 2 weeks is to be kind when you do that, because I said it's a political year. So we have that, which everybody's really nice during political election years. And then we also have the COVID, people are scared. So there's a lot of really great content and people commenting and so forth and sharing. There's a lot of really bad, or I think mean, sort of the negative side, because I think this fear driven. And
Yep.
so let's say that, you want to position yourself for business and you want to engage. Is that just as much as commenting on people's things and liking and so forth? You'll get people to know you, or what is another strategy for that?
I'll give you a strategy right now. And this is being recorded, correct?
Yes.
Good. So somebody can go back and watch this. I don't know what minute we're at, but here's something that works. This is the easiest thing in the world that I teach, and this will get you business. For a lot of people, it gets them business instantaneously if they follow it the correct way. For a lot of people, anybody who does it, period, you're going to get business within 30 days with this, and it will be consistent as long as you do it correctly. I call it my contact cube, and it is this simple. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to emote on at least 3 people's posts every single day. I will let you know that the thumbs up has no points as far as ranking. So I would always go from the heart over. So I want you to emote on a minimum of 3 people a day. I think it's easier to stick with 3, and I'll explain why. I want you to comment on a minimum of 3 people's posts, or reply to a minimum of 3 comments a day. Here's the one that gets people. I want you to instant message a minimum of 3 people a day. So here's what happened. I just had you talk to 9 different people every single day. 9 times 30 is 270 people that you're talking to. There's not anybody watching this video. There's not anybody that's going to be at the summit in Denver that's talking to 270 people a month. And it is the easiest thing in the world to do. Here's a couple of reasons why I want you to do this. So there's some tricks and secrets and hacks to Facebook. The very first one is, if you emote on someone's post or emote on someone's comment, that person will see your next 3 posts no matter what. They don't have a choice. If you comment or reply on someone's post or someone's comment, they're going to see your next 3 posts no matter what. They don't have a choice. If you send somebody an instant message inside of Facebook, they're going to see your next 3 posts no matter what. They don't have a choice. So that's 9 people a day that are seeing whatever it is that you're putting out to the world, your posts on your page. So, and there's a secret to knowing what to put on your page also, and I'll go through that in either another one of these or when we get to conference. But the contact cube, it's 333. And by doing this, here's what happens. And this is why you've got to be very careful with this. People with the type A personality like myself look at it and say, 9 people? Well, hell, I could do 30 people a day. Here's the problem. By doing this, you're going to get somewhere between 10 and 20% responding back to you. So on the first day, it's not a big deal. It's 1 or 2 people. By the time you're on the 7th day, you're having 30 conversations going at a time kind of deal. And it morphs. And what ends up happening is if you're posting the correct things that you should be posting, and you're posting in the correct groups to the correct people using the correct audience, you're going to be in front of your customer. And then what's going to happen is somebody's going to say, oh, wait a second, Jeannie, I saw, don't you have something to do with real estate? Well, yes, I do. I am the president of the International Home Stagers. And you go into at that point. The other thing, and I think this is something that people don't understand, and it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, that you guys not only will stage, but don't you also help people, and for lack of a better term, decorate or whatever you call that when you come to my house and do it for my wife kind of deal?
Right. Yeah. So we call home makeover, redesign, decorating. We do all that.
So if you're putting up, now here's the thing, you said it earlier about political posts, things like that. So nobody wants to see that. It creates arguments and fights. That's why 67% of the people on Instagram are 18 to 29. They don't want to see our arguments, our fights, any of that crap. They want to see pretty things. So if you at your profession are posting pictures or asking simple questions to your audience and using your audience correctly, if every time I look at your page, and you're not selling me, you're not saying, let me come out and sell you a new couch. What you're doing is you're showing me something that I could obtain. I can purchase this. I can call you and you can help me with this. So let's say, and what you should be doing is posting somewhere between 3 and 5 times a day. And I know that sounds like a lot, but I promise you it's not. And somewhere between at least 1 to 2 of those 3 to 5 posts a day should have something to do with something visual, either video or pictures, showing me something that I can enjoy about what it is that you do. Because I will tell you, and you've been in more people's houses, I'm sure, than I have. You go to somebody's house and it's like, you bought this house 6 years ago and you still have those fake paper curtains hanging up in the windows, and they don't know. We get embarrassed. I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know. And when I buy a new couch or I buy a new rug or I redo a room, if it's wrong, then I look foolish. But if I have a professional showing me and telling me that I've done it right, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. If I have, especially somebody like you that has the credentials, it doesn't matter if somebody comes up and goes, I don't like that picture or not. Who the hell are you? I had a professional stager do this. One of those things. So it's subconsciously letting people know what it is that you do, but you're not selling me. You're just showing me things that you've done or things that you like. You got time for one more tip?
Oh, yeah, we have a half an hour still, so we're good.
Good. So one of the things that I'm going to recommend, if it was me and I was if my job was your job or any of your viewers, things that I would do, I would either find pictures from my previous jobs that I really enjoyed. I would find video, anything that I could that shows what I can do. And I would also show a varying taste. So I don't want you to get wrapped up in, so like here.
Oh, we lost him. He'll come back. this is really great information. So we'll get him back in he'll come back to me. Someone we lost the connection, Johnny. So you guys can see why we have him as our keynote marketing specialist. And Yolanda, you got to get to know him. I think Deborah, she attended one of his recent seminars. That's why he name dropped. And of course, Deborah's a wonderful person. So Johnny. Okay, he'll have to get reconnected. So I'm really excited to have him share, and a couple of things I'm going to ask him to clarify when he comes back. So this is really important. We're going to ask him. He knows he's so knowledgeable about Facebook and the different platforms and so forth. He can tell you if you have X number of followers, how many people are actually seeing your content. So if you wonder why you don't get a lot of comments and so forth on just in general when you post something, there's something like if you have like say 1,500 people that you're connected to on Facebook, I think only 7 of them see your stuff regularly, because that's the algorithm. And oh, you met him too, Yolanda. Yeah, so he's a great guy. If you have something like 3,000 people you're connected with, it only goes up to like 40. So there's a whole science behind getting the exposure and the visibility. And so Johnny, when you come back on, we'll get you back in the stream here. Otherwise, this will be a quick show. Okay, good. Here he is. I was like, I can't feel the content that much. Oop, what happened? We lost him again. Dang it. Is it? I don't know if it's on my end or yours, Johnny. I'm not sure. It should be easy to bring you in. So he was there and then he left again. So we'll get him back on. But anyhow, there's a hack that he knows about. So I'm not sure if he's going to share that with us today, or he'll definitely share that at conference. And to be able to have your stuff seen by many, many more people. All right, let's see if this works. 3, 2, 1. There he is. Hello.
Now, hold on a second, because I've got a problem. I've got 2 going.
So, oh, we lost him. So he'll come back. Anyway, and there's also the whole thing about hashtags. So he has a lot of knowledge about how many hashtags, no less than 2, no more than 6 on Facebook. And see, I was like 30 hashtags, putting as many as I could in there. So he just knows so much about what we need to be doing and how to do it correctly. All right. Yay.
I have no idea what happened.
Okay.
So
you were talking about find picture from previous projects, video, the visual, and
in the diversity. Show me that you can do modern loft. Show me that you can do country. Show me that you can do hill, whatever that may be. So here's what's going to happen. People will sit back and be voyeuristic. It's like, Jeannie, I know you've seen this in any of your people that have ever spoke. It's one of those things we always finish out any speaking engagement saying, are there any questions? And nobody says a word. And the minute you take one step off of stage, 47 people are going, I've got a question for you. So my point with that is people are voyeuristic. They're afraid of looking bad or embarrassed. So show me what it is that you can do. Show me that not only you can do a living room, but you can do my bedroom, my bathroom, my kitchen, things like that. If it was me and I was one of the people watching and one of the people in your group, I would be posting at least 2, maybe 3 sets of pictures or videos a day on either jobs that you've already done, jobs that you're proud of, jobs that you like. Or I would go and I would use Google Images, and inside of Google Images or inside of House or inside of Pinterest, where there's these are already sitting there, start asking people what their opinion is. It's really funny. Human beings cannot help but give their opinion. If you ask them if they have a question, they'll never have a question. But then if you ask somebody, hey, do you like this shirt? Yeah, I just don't like the white buttons. We just can't help it. We can't help. But here's what happens. Every time one of those people either react to your video, or if they're watching what it is that you're doing, if they spend over 1 second looking at a picture, now they're going to see your next post, no matter what. And this is what we'll do. And then from the confines of my office or my home or sitting on my device in the car, I can send you a message and say, hey, I don't want to ask this in front of anybody, but I don't know if I can afford this, or I don't know, do you do this with my furniture? Do we have to go buy all new furniture? Whatever the questions are. Hey, do you do bathrooms? I see your kitchens in your bedrooms, but I've never seen, do you do bathrooms also? It's things like that. And it just creates an atmosphere where people feel free to reach out to you if you're telling me. And I explain this to real estate agents all the time. And it's the easiest thing with real estate agents. And if any of your people are real estate agents also, one of the things that you'll find out, and I ask this question, have any of you guys ever had a friend or family member use somebody else as a real estate agent in a transaction? And about 50-60% of the people raise their hand. And then I'll say, did you ever ask them why? And the few that actually ever ask them why, they'll say, are you still doing that real estate thing? I didn't know if you were doing roofs or putting carpet in, or I knew you did something with real estate. We're not telling people what it is that we do. We're not engaging them. We for some strange reason, we expect them to always use us, to remember our name when they really want to, but they just don't remember. They don't remember that I did that because I gave them a business card 6 years ago, kind of thing.
Or that you're even still in business. Because, I also out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
And so you constantly have to have a presence that, and social media is super important. I do want to go back to hashtags.
Yep.
I know I keep asking about this. So last time we had you on, you said, or on the call, you said to search for the top hashtags in your market and use those, because if I'm using, like, if I hashtag my company name, that's not really helping because people don't know what my company name is. They don't even know what my name is, but they know they're looking maybe for a home stager in Denver. So what's the terms that people be looking for? And to keep it 2 to 6 hashtags for Facebook. Instagram, you can go up to 30. But the hashtags translate in, correct me if I'm wrong, they translate into, if someone's searching, isn't that the keywords that people are putting in to find you, right? And
Yep.
so does that go to Google? If they're in a Google search and they put those in, because I have exposure on Facebook and so forth, I'm going to show up.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And
So
then the hashtag, one other question on the hashtag, because I asked this before, but I wasn't really clear on that. So if it's like, should I do hashtag home, hashtag stager, or can I do hashtag home stager? Can I combine them? And then if somebody types in home stager with a space in between, they'll still find me? Because I see that only equals 1 hashtag versus if I go hashtag home, hashtag stager, that's 2 out of my 6. So if I could just combine it.
So here's what hashtags are. The very first thing we have to understand is, what is a hashtag? What a hashtag is what the new generation uses as search terminology. They follow hashtags. They search by specific hashtags. Some of the ones that we talk about, I think we talked about this before. Hashtag love. I think there's 1.7 billion people who follow hashtag love. So if you put a post up and did hashtag love and somebody was following that, your post would get higher elevation than hashtag love Jeannie would get. So here's some really easy things. So hashtags, there's a couple tricks and hacks with these. The very first one, yes, you can use up to 30 hashtags, but the search engines, outside search engines, Google, Bing, any of the outside search engines have wised up to people, marketers like myself, using hashtags that have nothing to do with what it is that I'm advertising or what it is that I'm trying to describe. You are going to use hashtags as a descriptor. Your descriptor has to be something that people are searching for. So while you were asking the question, I just went on this magic device called Google. It's spelled Google.
Unless you're Google, we just watched Hot Tub Time Machine, and that guy Lugal, he takes it over.
Yes. And
So Google,
didn't he become
billionaire, and he was in the rock band.
Did he become Lou Jovi or something like that? So while we're sitting here,
sorry, my Google's now. Sorry,
$1 billion
no problem.
units of a given currency, usually major
Oh my God, stop
currencies such as
talking.
the United States dollar, the
Sorry.
euro, or the pound
no
sterling.
problem. I'm good.
My Google thing. Anyway, he started
Don't say
talking
it again. Don't say it
I
again.
didn't ask you to talk, so go ahead. Sorry about that, everybody.
So while you're asking me the question, I just went on Google and I typed in top hashtags for home staging. It's this easy. Now, you want to use for your job or whatever it is you're describing, you want to use the hashtags that are already being used because that's the keywords that people are typing in, searching for you. So, number one hashtag for home staging. This is where it gets really funny. Number one, hashtag real estate. One word, no spaces, hashtag real estate. That one has 10% of the market weight for your job, for home staging. Number two, hashtag home staging, one word, has 9%. Hashtag home decor, hashtag design, hashtag realtor, hashtag decor, hashtag home stager, hashtag home. Those are the top hashtags being used in your industry. Now, you can go even farther than that. I see that, didn't Yolanda say that she was the president here in Houston? So I'm going to go one farther than that. And I'm going to say top hashtags used in Houston, Texas. Now, Now, this is where it gets really funny. Do you remember what I said the number one hashtag was for the nation for your job?
Real estate.
Real estate. Houston, Texas, number one hashtag, home staging, has 38% of the weight of what your audience is looking for. Hashtag home staging holds 38% of the weight in Houston, Texas. So my point being is it's different for every locale because we don't all use the same words. We don't use all the same search abilities that everybody else does. So for Yolanda, it's home staging. Number two, interior design. Number three, home decor. 4, real estate. 5, interior. 6, home. 7, design. 8, staging. So if I was using hashtag Jonny Fowler to try and be a descriptor for people to see my page, nobody would ever find me as hashtag Jonny Fowler for home decor, home staging. Because the number one in Houston, Texas is home staging by 38% of the searches that are being done. So stop using hashtags that have nothing to do with what it is that you're trying to show your audience. Hashtag home staging Denver, nobody's looking for.
So yeah, 'cause I was going to ask you about, because oftentimes I'll put in hashtag Denver and all the cities that we serve. But if Google already knows that they're in that city, and then they're going to be searching for home stagers or whatever that the top things are putting in, you don't necessarily have to put in your geographic because it knows where the person is. Excuse me, right?
Yep.
That's wasted. If I put hashtag Denver, hashtag Colorado, I'm wasting 2 hashtags that I could use for something else. And then phrases, the hashtag phrases, because Instagram is, like you see a lot of people typing, hashtag I don't want to eat food tonight or whatever. They have hashtag give me some sugar or whatever. I mean, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, they have these phrases. I don't know
about that long.
But anyway, how do those work?
The answer is they don't. Okay. They're funny. Now they're descriptors. They're funny. Hashtag love Netflix, but nobody is searching for hashtag love Netflix. So they're funny. They're something that will bring joy to your post. If it's something like that, hashtag over it is being used everywhere right now, but it's not necessarily something that somebody is searching for. So if you're trying to market yourself, if you're trying to market your job or whatever it is that you do, nobody's searching for hashtag over it, but we'll look and see that, and it's funny. We'll laugh. It will bring you and I closer because not only are you over it, I'm over it too. So you've got to be very careful. The other part that I see that's a huge mistake is when people do those huge hashtag phrases. Nobody knows how to spell a 43-character hashtag, or how you spell it. So you're making it very difficult for somebody. Now, what I'm going to recommend, and this is what I've gotten from my friend that is the chief designer for Bing, and from my Facebook reps, always use a minimum of 2 hashtags, never use more than 6. The search engines, including the Facebook search engines, have caught on to us trying to market more and try and make it look like we're actually doing more than we really are. The way they look at it is, if you can't describe what it is you're doing in somewhere between 2 and 6 words, you're lying to the system.
And then you also said that this is really interesting too, because you just kind of touched on it, that the younger, when I go to Google to search, I type the words in, and you said the younger generation types in hashtags.
Yes.
We'll type in the hashtag and as part of this thing they're putting in there to find. So you gave the example of a red Corvette on our when we spoke, and so I'm going to type in red Corvette. The top results are going to be somewhat relatable, but maybe not really like I want to purchase one. But the younger generation, they're actually typing in hashtag red Corvette, and it's going to pull in pretty much 100% relevant content. So why is that?
A number of reasons. So you've got to remember, Google has to, in any business, has to adapt to their audience. Whatever it is that their audience is doing, they'll adapt to that. And if no matter whatever the percentage is if it's a large percentage, a greater percentage, then they will adapt to that. So my generation, the Gen Xers, we are used to, since the first day we ever saw a search engine, we are used to typing in our opinion, it's a descriptor. It's I want to know. And what we had talked about before is what I would do is I would go into Google and I would type in Chevrolet Corvette. And up is going to pop 10 pages. The first 2 are going to be paid ads, and they're going to be pretty close to what it is I'm looking for. Maybe the next 1 or 2 have something. What usually would be is when I type in Chevrolet Corvette, it's going to pop up either the number 1 Chevrolet Corvette selling dealership in my area and the number 1 paid advertisement Chevrolet dealership in my area. And then I'm going to get 8 hyperlinks to things that probably have nothing to do with what I'm looking for. I'm looking to buy a new Corvette, and here's a video of a Corvette racing a donkey, and here's a Corvette, that's in a junkyard in Peru or something. But the younger generation, they search by hashtags because that means start. And when they search by hashtags, the people who are advertising them correctly. So when you were talking about red Corvette, when you type in hashtag Chevrolet Corvette, it's going to give that person at least 8, if not 10, of exactly what they're looking for when they use those search terminology. So for my generation, we need to learn what this younger generation is doing to make our searches more accurate. And it's hard. I know it's hard. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But that's how we have to talk. Because the other thing that we know is, and we all say this, I don't say it anymore since I've learned about social media, but it's like, if you're having computer problems, find a 14-year-old, he can fix your computer kind of deal. The problem is 14-year-olds can't afford to pay for home staging. So they have no idea what the hell it is that you're doing, or how much it costs, or what it is, or how it's going to help me. So we have to do this a little bit ourselves, but we have to adapt a little bit to this generation. So I'm sitting right now, my office is physically in Sugar Land, Texas, which is a little city suburb southwest of Houston. I typed in hashtag home staging. The very first one that comes up is www.mystaging.com, realistic virtual staging, blah, blah, blah. And then that's the paid ones. And then as soon as I get done with the paid ones, the very first one that's organic, I click on that. And here's something, if any of your, this is a really nice site too. Revealhomestaging.com. I don't know if you've ever seen that before. Nice looking site, great site. One of the things that I recommend is, if any of your people that follow you have websites, inside of your website, it used to be set up to where you had keywords, meta tags. Now what I would do if I was them is I would go in and I would do 2 things. I would change all of those to key phrases, and I would change them to hashtags. Now, the problem with changing to hashtags is hashtags change dramatically every week. So you've got to keep up with that. It's maintenance, but it's honestly going to take you less than 5 minutes to change your whole website presence, SEO. But you need to go in and look and see what people in your area are looking for. That way your site will get more hits. It will come to the top. more often than anybody else. I'm not a big fan of websites. I still have them. I still use them, but social media is dominating over SEO every single day.
So, but people who do have a website, so you're saying change it on the SEO, the back behind the scenes, or do you mean actually put it on? Because I know, like,
Both.
on the homepage, you actually have to have, you want to have every city that you serve, so that people, if they're searching, they're going to find that. So I was told that years ago. But you're saying the behind the scenes SEO, change these things to phrases and hashtags.
Both.
On the homepage too. Okay.
On the back side, on the admin side, I would have every city that I stay in, every city that I work in, and I would also have regions. So I don't know how it is in Denver, but here in Houston. So if it was me and I was Yolanda or Deborah or whoever on my site, in any of the keywords, meta tags, key phrases, I would change those. And I would say hashtag memorial, hashtag medical center, hashtag woodlands, hashtag Friendswood. Those are areas whenever we talk, hey, where are you moving to? Oh, we're moving to the woodlands. We don't say, oh, we're moving 40 miles north of Harris County, things like that.
Right.
So whatever your area is. The other thing is anytime that I put something that was relevant on my forward facing, on my customer side. So let's say I had a beautiful picture. I just did this beautiful living room and it happened to be in the woodlands. I would start looking for those descriptors, and I would put those descriptors actually either in the content or in the pictures itself. So hashtag woodlands. So if somebody went to Google, or if somebody went to a search engine and they typed in hashtag homestaging the woodlands, my picture that has hashtag the woodlands that's on my homestaging is going to get more free SEO because it is a perfect descriptor. Here is a homestaging website. Here is a picture of a living room. Here is a picture with hashtag woodlands on it. And all I'm doing is making it easier on the search engines to be able to find me.
Which is, so I was taking a lot of notes too. So that's great. And then I also wanted to touch on when people are posting things on Facebook, and let's say, we do this a lot with our classes. So we're like, go to stagingshorttermrentals.com to register for the SRTS or STRS. And if I put that in the actual picture or the commentary or the wording at the top, Facebook does not like that. And so they will actually, you said, suppress that post. So then how do you then get...
They're fine. They're fine with the hashtag. They don't like websites.
Yeah, the way, yes, because if your web, I'm sorry, the website taking them out of, if you're taking anybody out of Facebook, they don't like that. So if you do have a website you're trying to promote, whether it's your own or something else, do you just have to put that in the comments, or what's your recommendation on that?
You can put it in the comments. You can put it in the content. You can put it on the picture itself. I teach people how to use a syndicate to where their syndicate can come back in. So if I put something up, I'm going to tag you in my post. When I tag you in my post, you should come in right behind me in the comments and put in whatever hashtag that you use, that you're using as a describer, or helping me with whatever it is that I'm showing my audience. Yeah, so here's the thing. You've got to think about this in a much larger scale. Mark Zuckerberg is not a billionaire because he gives away a free website. So that did not make him any money whatsoever. So there's two things that made him money. The first one is gathering data. So every picture you like, every comment that you make, every video that you put up, every video, anything, when you see let's say you see a video of a beautiful Ferrari going by, and you hit the love symbol on that Ferrari, but here's a Toyota Corolla and you do nothing. They still see that you saw that picture of the Toyota Corolla, but you had no interaction. So what they're going to do is show you more Ferraris. That's what their job is. That's the first thing, is gathering data is how he makes his money. The second way is by selling ads. So why on earth would I ever allow you to put up a website and show to my audience, not yours, my audience. I own Facebook. It's my audience. Why would I ever allow you to take people outside of my ecosystem to take them somewhere else where somebody else can sell them ads?
Right. So he's a genius. The thing with the gathering data, it's kind of scary because you guys have probably all experienced this. You go to Google, you shop for, I think I was looking for compression sleeves for my husband because he has this thing on his elbow, the bursitis, which is, you have to press it in. So I bought that. So the next thing I know, I'm on Facebook, and then this ad pops up for the sleeve, and I'm like, how did it know? Because it's a different platform. How did it know that I was looking for that over there, and then it showed up over here?
Because every one of these things that we have, we give it permission to everything that we do. And one of the things that I show people in my class, and I teach them this, and it's really funny. Matter of fact, I think I see Deborah's on here. Deborah can probably vouch for this one. It was absolutely hilarious. When I was telling people, you don't even have to turn this on. You can see that the screen is black. I will not even turn it. And I will just talk into the bottom where the microphone is on my phone. And I can say things like, the ceiling fan went out in the bedroom last night, and I need a new ceiling fan. But I don't want a polished brass one, and I don't want a light kit. What I want is either a brushed nickel or a chrome. And I don't want light-colored fan blades. I want dark-colored wood fan blades. And then I'm going to put this down. And in about 15 minutes, in my Facebook feed is going to be Lowe's Home Depot Lighting Direct showing me exactly what I asked for. There's not going to be a polished brass ceiling fan. There's not going to be a ceiling fan with a light kit. It's going to be exactly what I asked for. We in the class that Deborah was in, the last one we were in, I kid you not, and I think Deborah can vouch for me on this one, is one of the women sitting in the very front made a funny comment. And she said, I want a rich husband. I don't want to have to ever work again in my life, and I want a rich husband. And she put her phone down, making a joke. And within about 6 or 7 minutes, she started going into her Facebook feed, and it was every dating app for people over 50 years of age. It was Our Time. It was, I think she was making silver foxes, stuff like this. So that's how and why, because this listens to us. Not only does this listen to us, our computers, our iPads, everything are listening. And it's you're right. It's a little scary, but it's also a good thing, because if I know how to use the system correctly, then it helps me in my business, because most of the time my competition won't invest a dime in themselves. And my job is to take care of me and my family and my business. And if they won't pay attention, I'm even better off.
Right. More for me. Well, and I know on the phone, because one of my realtor colleagues said she and her husband were talking about going on a trip somewhere, and the next thing she knew was populating in Facebook, and they weren't even on the phone. You can actually turn that setting off on Facebook. You can actually shut it down so it can't hear and listen. So I don't know if that's actually true. I went into my settings and turned that off. But
it's 100% true. But here's where there's a little bit of misnomer to that. If you have it turned on, and you have to, otherwise your phone won't do anything else besides act as a phone. If you have it turned on inside of Google, if it's on in Google, what you searched for, whether you did it verbally or you did it manually, is stored inside of your cache memory, C-A-C-H-E, cache memory. And you gave Facebook, you gave LinkedIn, you gave Twitter permission to see what's inside of your phone, so it'll still pop up. You can turn it off on Facebook, but Facebook still sees it because you have it turned on in some other system. Unless all you're using this thing for is a phone, and if you are, you may as well just go buy a burner phone.
Right. Well, I know that's true, because when you download an app and it says give them permission to look at your pictures, your content, and so forth, and your contacts, and you can't get past and download the app fully unless you give authorization for that. That's because it's all about the information gathering. And, unless you're a spy and you don't want people to know what you're doing, I don't really care. People are like, Alexa's listening, and every once in a while she'll just comment. I'm like, nobody was talking to you like that. This guy, my Google thing started popping up about billionaires. I'm like, I didn't even ask you a question, but it's listening. And so, which is a little unsettling somewhat, but we just go about our daily lives. We're just, it's actually,
I don't know if you've paid attention, but in some courts, I know it happened in California. You can look it up on Google. Alexa and Echo and those are actually being pulled into court to testify.
Yeah, because they are listening and they can store the data for, it was like for a criminal case. So people
It was
go,
a murder case. It was a woman asked, if I remember correctly, it was a woman that asked one of those systems how to get away with murder, how to murder my husband, something along those lines. And
I've done that as a joke, though. I've been like, "Hey Alexa, how do you hide a dead body?" Just
I
for
love
fun.
doing that.
And she's like, "I don't know the answer to that question." And one time I was like, "Put it in the trunk." It was just these funny questions to ask, but I don't want it to be used against me in court. Like you were plotting to kill somebody.
Yeah,
Make it a joke. So, wow, that went really fast. We're actually 10:36. I can't believe it. The last half an hour just flew by. So I can't wait to have you at our conference, and God willing, it will be in person. Because I really feel the need, like we need to see each other and hug and embrace and so forth. And
amen.
hopefully Colorado won't be stupid about allowing large groups. But regardless, we will have a conference, whether it could be virtual. But I'm really hoping it's in person, and I can't wait for everybody to learn from you in that time, and hopefully we can have you on one more time before the conference even. So and as Jonny said earlier, he makes his money. Hancock Mortgage is his primary business. He's got a bunch of different states that are covered, and so he does this whole social media because he loves it and he loves helping people, and he doesn't charge for that when he travels and so forth. So it really is a mission and a passion of yours, and I really commend you for doing that, because there's a lot of people who would have the knowledge and then be monetizing it, but I love that you are willing to share just to help people succeed. So your heart
I've
is
paid money to go to some of these classes before, and they're giving really bad, wrong, outdated information. Even especially in the real estate business, they're pushing these business pages, and business pages are where it's at. Well, how many people follow your business pages? 73.
I know.
That one to me. Out of the 73, how many of them are friends and family? 47 of them.
Right.
So to make a business page work, if you're not spending $2,000 a month on advertisement for that business page, you're wasting your time.
Well, yeah, next time we have you on, I want to talk about visibility and the whole strategy behind how to get visible. And I know you have a special hack. I don't know if I want to save that for the conference or have you tell it beforehand, but there's ways to get your information out in front of more than just 15 people or 40 people or whatever, based on the algorithms. So you have outsmarted Facebook, which I love, and are willing to share that. So
yep, every single day. When I put a video out, if I do it in public, when I put a post out, something like that, I get a reach of about 5,000 people see what it is that I'm talking about, that I'm saying, where most people are sitting at somewhere in the 15 to 25 range.
Right. So we have to learn what that is. And so I so appreciate you being on. We'll have you on again before the conference. You have a great rest of your week.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. All right. So that's it for the show this week. So next week we'll have another great segment we'll bring to you. And if you could all share this as well, those of you that have come on, share it to your followers so we get a great reach and just extend the conversation. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye.